So,
Okay.
I want to read you a caption that I wrote in one of my previous posts. I think sometime last week or so.
Okay.
And I just want your feedback on it, and we'll just see where the conversation goes from there.
Okay.
So the caption was, "There's enough marriage and relationship coaches and experts, in my opinion, and I have no desire to be seen as any of that. All I care to do is share what is working for me and has worked for me from the perspective of somebody that actually cares. I recently looked up the difference between a coach and a mentor and discovered that a mentor is someone who shares their personal knowledge, skills, and experience with those who may have less experience as a form of guidance, not instruction. Honestly, I was feeling that more than anything else I've been called. But above that, what I consider myself to be is seen as a brother who cares. Most men I know didn't really have active fathers or the opportunity to see genuinely healthy and productive marriages. And let me say that again. Most men I know didn't have really active fathers or the opportunity to see genuinely healthy, productive marriages, and that includes myself. So maybe in all that I share through my experiences, I can bridge a gap between that and others who haven't seen that in some type of way and add some value. I'm definitely far from perfect as a man, as a husband, as a father, but I can say for sure that I'm growing every day in the best way that I can in real life. And I hope to make that in my values. Let me read that again. And I hope to make that in my values in my real life. Dang, I really am reading that wrong.
It's okay, baby.
I'm definitely far from perfect as a man, a husband, and father, but I can say for sure that I'm growing every day to be the best man that I can in real life and to make what I stand for extremely clear for those who listen to me."
Got it.
That's what it is.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yes. I was mixed. This text is small, so I was running
it's
together.
It's okay, babe. It's okay. It sounds like
anyway,
you just wanted to remix it.
That's it.
Okay.
But in essence of all of that, y'all excuse my reading. Your boy really ain't there with it, but it's fine. And all of that, what I was really just trying to get at, though, is the fact that there's so many, experts and coaches and stuff like that out there, but I don't think there's enough people that genuinely care. And I think we care so much when it comes to relationships, when it comes to marriage and all of that stuff. And that even though we have, a selfish, really, reason behind our show, because it's really about us getting closer, outside of that, it's also to be able to show people the growth and the development of our relationship in the most open, honest, and transparent way possible, but not to be some expert out here giving relationship advice.
Right.
It's like, no, this is what's really working for us. It's not saying you should do it.
Yeah.
It's just what's working for us.
Yeah.
And then when we show up and we talk to people and we interact with people, it's just like, bro, we care. Like, we care because so many people out here didn't have the opportunity to be able to see healthy, productive relationships. Me as a man, I didn't have an active father. I didn't have other men in my life who I looked up to enough to where I say, hey, you know what? I want to be like this person, or I want to follow in your steps, or who even taught me something to where I could say, I learned a real good lesson from you. And so now I'm married. I got a baby girl. I got a wife who means the world to me. And I've had to figure this thing out every step of the way.
Yeah.
Made so many different mistakes. I've had to go through so many different learning curves from watching how I speak, watching how I show up in the world, watching how I treat you, watching how I treat people in the regular world, because that also impacts how I navigate things in my household, because there has to be some consistency there.
Right.
And this is all stuff, that I've just learned off the cuff.
Yeah.
Like, no guidance, for real, like just constantly trying to get better to show up for the people that I care about and that I love the most. And this is a reflection of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what I wrote. And
that was so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really love that. I love your honesty and your transparency in all your posts, because it's so you. Like, you're not giving no hypothetical scenarios and what ifs and all of that. You're talking about your real life experiences, what you've really grown through, and how it's helped you be who you are, and it's helping you become who you want to be. This isn't any theoretical type stuff. This is implementation.
Yeah.
This is actual experience, not stuff you just made up in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's what our show, that's what our show is about. But I love your content because it's so dope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it nowadays, is coming from the show outside of my other thoughts and things that I share. But it's just the fact, man, that I want to get better personally.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sometimes, I share different thoughts and things like that I have that I'm working through in the moment. Right. And again, it ain't about it being right. It's about me being honest.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm thinking and feeling as of right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
And being okay with that changing.
Absolutely.
When you're introduced with new information, when you're introduced to new experiences, it may or may not change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is what growth looks like.
Yeah.
Like, that's the process. Mm-hmm. And I think there's so many people today who want to put being right on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. But right doesn't always look the same for everybody, because there's information that's right for a person at a certain level or at a certain stage of life. But that right is not the same type of right for somebody at another stage in life or at another level.
Right.
So, like we've said before, there's things that we do today that had we to try to do that same thing 10 years ago would have been completely destructive.
Right.
We weren't ready at the time.
Yeah.
And our thinking at that time would have been counterproductive because we hadn't grown into the type of people who could make that information useful yet. Mm-hmm. And so when I say stuff, I'm like, this is just how I'm thinking and feeling today. Mm-hmm. And as of right now, it's serving me well.
Yeah.
It's serving my marriage well. It's serving the community of people, that we give our insights to, hopefully in a productive way. But it ain't even for them. Mm. It's really just us sharing how we think and feel.
Yeah.
And if it helps you, that is great.
Yeah.
That's great for you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, that's also great for you. Hopefully you find something that works well for you.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that, people should follow behind us and nothing like that. Like, we're figuring this thing out. Mm-hmm. I'm figuring me out because I know there's so much, man, that I don't know about being a husband and a father. Hell, even a man.
Yeah.
And I can say that honestly, like, I've never even thought about what it means to actually be a man, so to say. Mm-hmm. I've never thought about that.
Okay.
And I've never heard too many people, who come from where I come from, talk about that without some type of damage or trauma attached to it, coming from what they saw or what they didn't see. And so in some type of way, I've had to create whatever that is for myself.
Yeah.
And I've had to look to other people, basically through books and online, and some people in real life, and I've had to kind of build my own idea of what I think that is.
Yeah.
And it served me well up to this point. Mm-hmm. But now I'm looking for that next version or that next level of myself. And the same way I'm doing that in my own personal life and in my own personal journey of becoming my better self to be able to better serve me and my family, that's the same thing we do in our marriage.
Yes.
We've been building and constructing this thing in a way that works for us, but we're always pivoting and changing and looking for ways to grow and develop, and realizing that what's serving us today will serve us.
Yes.
But it won't continue to serve us because we have to keep growing and becoming more. And we have to get to a point to where we can not, let me say that a different way. It's not even growing and getting to another point. We do what works for us until it doesn't.
Yes, absolutely.
We do what works for us in that season of our life until it doesn't work no more.
Yeah.
And then we change or we pivot or we do something different. Mm-hmm. And then we do the same thing then. We do what works for us in that season of our life until it doesn't work no more. And we change.
I think that's such a dope thing. Stop doing what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And that's just not in just marriage, in anything. Yeah. Stop doing what doesn't work for you. It's time to pivot. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah. And realizing that what works right now, how they say, what's that saying? what got you here won't get you there.
Yes.
It'll work for a season.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the seasons change, you have to change.
Yes.
And I think, you know what, that actually reminds me of a post that I got right now that's you know, a clip from one of our videos.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are taking it well, some not so much.
Yeah, well.
Well, I'm talking about growth, right?
Okay.
People always... Let me start that a different way. Because, man, I don't like generalizing people. I really don't. A lot of people, some people, a portion of y'all, when you hear a word like growth, we automatically assume that means hustle, grind, getting after it, working real hard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People associate growth with stuff like that when it is so individualized, and it has to be contextualized to the people or the person in the situation.
Yeah.
Because growth can also look like not doing a damn thing. When you do too much already,
yes,
it can look like that.
Yeah.
Growth can also look like doing a whole lot because you haven't been doing anything. Mm-hmm. Growth can also look like taking a time to step back and just observe and see the beauty of what life is right now and deciding what you want to do, deciding what you want to do next, like resting. Mm-hmm. It can look so many different ways, but you have to figure out what that looks like for you based on the season that you're in, either personally or in your relationship or whatever the case may be. And that message, man, has really ruffled some feathers for people. And it's like, when I be like, hey, you know, I'm about to raise my standard. I'm about to be a whole nother person. I'm saying all of this stuff, right? But people don't realize, man, that when I say that, you don't know what that actually means for me contextualized based on what's happening in my life or in our life. Mm-hmm. And people listen to certain things, man, and it'd be so unfortunate because I wish people would not take certain things at face value and be like, man, I heard that. I feel like it resonated with me, but how can I make it relevant to my life and my situation?
Baby, that's too much work.
It takes way too much. That takes
too much work because that takes actually self-reflecting. Mm-hmm. That takes looking at yourself and seeing really how you think and why you think the way you think. Mm-hmm. Because for even for that message to be taken the wrong way, like how could someone's mind go to a negative place when you're talking about you and your growth in your marriage? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like even that, something within those people needs to be fixed because you're looking to be offended here. When someone else is talking about their experience, it's okay that you can't relate. That's okay. You don't have to raise your standard. If you're okay with where you are, that is perfectly fine. But just because somebody else is talking about raising their standards, that don't mean you should be offended. Did that make you feel insecure because your standards aren't being raised? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it takes looking at yourself to say, dang, like this message may not be for me, but that's work though. That takes work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because even in hearing that, you know, because of course we always put our stuff in relation to in the marriage, and people be like, oh, you know, well, if you vow to do this and be with this person and all this other stuff, you know, you should be able to take them however, you know, even if they don't decide to grow anymore after this, whatever the case. Okay. I ain't telling nobody what to do, man. Do what works for you, boss. I ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Only thing I got to do is what's happening over here with me and the lady and the woman that I married. Yeah. You know what I mean? However, I will say there's this scientific law called entropy. Mm-hmm. Meaning that if it ain't growing, it's dying. Okay. And the only way to beat entropy is through action. Mm. The only way to beat it. Mm. Meaning that you actually have to do something. That's just science. Yeah. However, there's also, and I ain't even going to attempt to butcher it, multiple verses in the Bible that also reference the fact that if you don't do work, poverty will sneak up on you like a thief in the night. Something like that or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it probably don't say it nearly like that, but it's close enough.
You try.
But also just getting at the fact that like work has to be done. Yeah. That's what I'm ultimately saying. Like, work has to be done. Effort has to be put in anything that you do. And it's just that sometimes we get so mixed up in the words and the language of stuff just because probably something may be happening in our lives that's not going the way that we want it to be. And it's a soft spot. It's a sensitive spot. And we find ourselves getting offended by things that don't fit into the picture of where we are right now.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it also might be a hard truth for you. And if that's what it is, then that's just what it is. But the only way to fix that is to do something about it. Mm-hmm. And so, like I was saying before, like in all that we share, man, it's like, ain't nobody sitting over here trying to be nobody expert. Ain't nobody sitting over here trying to be nobody coach, nothing like that. But I'm trying to be the best me possible for me. And this woman right here who I married, that is my goal. My goal is to be the best husband possible for this woman right here in front of me that I married. And for that baby girl right there that we're raising, I want to be the best husband and father possible for the family that I have. And I want to be a good man for me, somebody that I can be proud of, and somebody, you know, that I can look at every single day and just be like, dang, man, you know what? You showing up for your people. You showing up for your family. You showing up for the people that you care about and feel good about that. And that ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
Right. Exactly.
I ain't gonna say I don't care about none of y'all, but in that sense, I don't care about none of y'all.
Yeah.
I have to show up and feel good about the person that I'm being. And I know that my values and my standards and what I stand on as a byproduct of that, it'll also do some good for some people.
Yeah.
But the focus is right here. The focus is right here in what I can control. It's right here in the sphere of influence that I have the biggest impact on.
Yes.
And that's, again, that's the same thing inside of our marriage. It's just that now we get the opportunity to be able to let people kind of peek in on that and see what that looks like for us as we're growing through the process. So that's where I'm at with it on that.
That's good.
Yeah.
This was all you.
Huh?
This was all you. That's good.
Yeah, a little bit. But
no, you had a lot to say on that. You had to get that out. That's good.
But even on that though, like, cause I know a lot of people have, man, we done called everything from experts to gurus to digital or online social media therapists, all kind of stuff. How do you respond to that?
I don't want none of that.
I don't want none of that either.
I don't want any of that. I don't like telling people what to do. Like, that's not my thing. It's like, I just want to share. We just want to share what we're doing, what we're learning through. I told you before, like, we don't do hypothetical scenarios. We're only talking about things we've actually been through. And if you get value from that, that's awesome. If you don't, that's awesome. But we're just sharing what we've grown through. That doesn't make us experts. It doesn't make us coaches. But that does make us experts in our marriage. Yeah. That might not necessarily make us experts on your marriage or your relationship, because we ain't got nothing to do with that. But if you can take something from what we said and use it, you know, for the benefit of your relationship, that's great.
Pretty much.
But if you can't, it's great. I don't have like any feelings towards it, because I know, like, the point of our show initially, like, the point of our show was just for us to become better communicators with each other and us to be able to watch it in real time. And then we ultimately was like, hey, let's just share it with the public. So we're sharing it with the public. And come to find out, like, even in us wanting to be better communicators with each other, we figured out that we needed to grow in so many other areas as we did this thing. Right. You know, so it's like, this is more than us just talking. This is us really showing us cultivating and growing through our marriage in public. Like, you're literally watching us continue to create our happily married life together on camera. That's literally it, you know? So yeah, I don't have any, like, I don't think I'm a coach. I don't think I'm a guru. I don't know. I'm not any of that. I'm just a wife who's here with my husband, sharing what we're growing through. Like, I mean, that's it. So I don't take that. I don't, like, don't call me that. Yeah. I'm not that.
You know what's funny is we posted a clip a while back, and I can't even remember what I said, man, but it checked me. Okay. One of my clips checked me.
Uh-oh.
And I can't even remember what it was, man, but it was interesting because I don't remember exactly what the clip was, but I remember how it made me feel.
Okay.
And it was like, dang, Trone, you know what? Like, you applying that in your marriage, but there's some other areas of your life where you need to have that same energy. And I was listening to it, and I don't remember what I was saying, but I do remember I was like, you know what? You need to apply that same thing in how you show up for yourself. Because you can do that for your wife, but there's some areas inside of me that are missing that.
Okay.
And so I thought about that, and I was like, man, what other areas in my life am I not as intentional, or whatever the case may be? And I wish I could remember what clip it was.
Yeah.
But it was dope to me because we always talk about parallels and different things like that, and how our goal, you know, is to be able to communicate better with each other and all of this stuff. And I love being able to look at some of that and be like, man, do I still agree with that? How I'm feeling that? And then having a moment like that to where I was like, dang, Trone, you know what? That was right. But you only half implementing that.
Ooh.
Like, you only implement that in your marriage, but there's other areas in your life where that same level of intention is missing.
That's so good.
And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, bro. You got to pick it up. Like, you gotta be more intentional in these other areas or whatever. So that way you can still grow and become the person that you ultimately want to become on an individual level too.
Yeah.
And I was grateful for that.
That's so
but
good.
That was a message that I unintentionally gave to myself in another area. And so, like, the way that I be looking at a lot of what we share, man, is it really just be us openly growing and sharing what we're growing through in real time. And it's even helpful for us, even when we get to see our opinions change.
Yes.
It's like, bro, like, this is really us just talking about how we feel. This is us talking about, you know, things that we've reflected on or whatever the case. And like we said before, man, if you get value from that, that is so great for you. But this is literally a video diary. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And we try to share, you know, like some little game and stuff like that, or things, you know, that have worked for us. We even answer some questions or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's always going to come back to what we've actually experienced, and not creating those stupid scenarios that don't serve us. Because what in the world would we do? How would it benefit us creating fake scenarios about problems we don't have?
Exactly.
Bringing up like solutions that we think are solutions, but the problem ain't even real.
Exactly.
So there's no context there.
Exactly.
So why even waste present energy doing some crap like that? I don't get it.
No. Yeah.
And it is such a waste of time, because it's like you come up doing some mess like that, and then you unintentionally end up changing your actions, how you feel, how you look at somebody, how you show up inside of that relationship, how you show up for yourself, whatever. And the change will happen because it's become a focus of yours. You just won't notice it. But anybody who's around you for a long enough time, they will notice it. You know what I mean? But that's what doing that artificial scenario-based stuff does to you. And it's so subtle that you can't see it.
And it's always like negative scenarios.
It is.
It's never, oh, well, what if everything works out great and works out perfectly? No. What if he cheats? What if she cheats? What if everything goes south? What if, and I'm like, how is that helpful? That we haven't experienced that. We don't know. Like, I don't have an answer. Like, I can tell you what I think, but it would be wrong because I don't know, because I haven't experienced it.
Right.
You don't know what you're going to do until you're doing the thing. Like, how many times have we done a thing, attempted it this certain type of way, was like, nah, it ain't working out that way. Let's pivot to a different way. Like, a lot of people have done that. Most people have done that. When you go to school, you're like, oh, I think I'm interested in this particular subject. Come to find out that shit boring as hell, and you like, I don't want to do this. You switch to another subject. You go to a job. You like, oh, I really like this job. I'm getting kind of bored. I want to do another job. You know how many times like we've done that in our lifetime? Like,
right.
You think you're not gonna do that in life experiences too? Coming up with what ifs, it's just not helpful. It's not productive at all, especially in a relationship.
Yeah.
Why would I imagine what I would do if my husband cheated on me? Like, why would I think about that? Like, I can't even, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. And it's not something that I'm going to think about. I'm not concerned about that. Because I know what we have. I know we're committed to each other. I know we literally here. So I have no reason to think about
any of that.
Like,
and vice versa.
It serves no one.
And that's why I'm always like, man, I love that our conversations are so based on what we actually are experiencing in real time. Like, we don't get any value out of creating problems. Why waste that time and energy on creating problems? All we do is reflect. Now, we can share perspective on things that we think about in particular cases, but still, if it's not an actual reality for us, I be telling people when they ask me stuff in my DMs, I can give you perspective on it. But before I tell you anything, I don't know you.
Okay.
I don't know you. You don't know me from anywhere other than online. So take anything I say with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because it may or may not be helpful.
Right.
I don't know. But let me tell you that first.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the full story. You could be a complete psycho for all I know, giving me a one-sided story. I don't know that. So what I can tell you is, if I've actually experienced a situation, I could tell you how I navigated that.
Yeah.
If I haven't experienced it, all I can give you, man, is a perspective on it that you're going to have to be able to figure out how to make useful if you can at all. But I'm not finna sit over here and pretend that I'm not finna put myself on a pedestal like, oh, this person asked me a question. Let me show my expertise. I ain't finna do that crap. I'm not a therapist.
Right.
And again, I ain't nobody's coach either. No, boss, like we said before, like, we ain't the broken marriage folks. We not here to fix nobody crap. All we doing, we talk about us. We talk about what we're growing through. We talk about lessons that we're learning, reflections, that we've had, things that are important to us. And man, if you get value out of that, that's so great.
I feel like we've reiterated that shit so many times.
Man, listen,
it's so true. Like, the fact that we have to reiterate that so many times is wild. Because I think so many people, they come on social media and they're looking for answers. They're looking for answers in every little thing. They're looking for signs. They're looking for confirmations. And then when they see our stuff, it's just like, this is it. Do it this way. Or, I don't want to do it this way because it's not going to work out. Oh, okay. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? So they're looking for answers, and
you know what though?
And I don't think social media is the place for answers.
It's not. Not for answers, not in this space.
Yeah.
But I think that what really gets a lot of people is not realizing, man, that marriage and relationships are so unique. And it's the uniqueness that makes it so special. Yeah. It's the uniqueness of a relationship, of a marriage, of all of those things that make it so freaking special. Which is why, like in the beginning, when I was talking about, me being a better man and trying to be a better husband and father and stuff like that. When I say that, I mean that specifically for the wife and a daughter that I have. And what I do in that situation for me may or may not apply for somebody else. It probably can, because there are principles, that work regardless of the scenario, even though they have to be implemented uniquely based on the people. Yeah. Let me clear that out. Yeah. Let me make sure I say that. But when I'm saying that, though, it's the fact that so many relationships are so unique, and you can't just sit over here and generalize people like that when the most valuable and special things about marriages and relationships is the uniqueness in them. It's that it's like that one little peculiar thing about my wife that she does that would probably annoy the hell out of some other dude. But I look at it and I'm like, damn, you cute. Like, I love that about you or whatever. And then you look at me and I'm like, you be like, babe, you so weird, but I think that crap is like adorable.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or it's like, man, you know what? My wife, she's like this. Like, a lot of dudes wouldn't be feeling that. Like, I only get to see this because I'm married to her. But I like it. I like that weird thing or whatever the case may be. But it's those little small things that the world doesn't get to see. But it's also what makes the relationship so special because it's like, man, I get to be so much of myself. And I don't know if I could be like this with anybody else. Like, I'm so open. I'm so exposed. I'm so vulnerable. And I love it because with you, I get to be all of me. And come to find out, I love all of me. Yes. And I love the fact that I have somebody who allows me to be all of me so that way I can be rested in this place that helps me feel alive and human and accepted with this person. And that is so special.
It is.
And you can't put that into some generalized advice because that takes so much effort and intention over time to get to a place like that, which is why when people have been genuinely happy for years, there's small details inside of those relationships that will probably never be verbalized, and you can't even begin to understand it until you personally get there.
Yeah.
So that's why when we say certain stuff, it might sound good coming out our mouth. But when you try to execute it without those nuanced details, it probably won't work out for you the same way because there's some underlying thing in there that you don't have or that you don't know about.
That's good. That's so good. I love you.
I love you.
This was good for me.
I love to hear it.
I love this episode.
You feel like you was watching it?
I'm just like here, like, yeah, this
I
is
love
good.
you too, baby. But yeah, that's how I look at stuff, man. Like it does us no good, man, trying to walk around here pretending.
Yeah.
It does us no good trying to walk around out here pretending like we're stuff that we're not. Like, I get more satisfaction out of being happy with who I am.
Yeah.
I get more satisfaction out of being happy with what we have together.
Yes.
Knowing the effort that we've put in on building what we have together. And knowing that we did that with pure intentions based off of how we love one another, how we care for one another, and how we show up for us, how we've overcome so much together. We can't fake that.
Yeah.
We can't fake that. Ain't no 3 steps for that.
Right.
Ain't no
5 tips.
Ain't no secret formula for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't no here's 5 steps on how you could do whatever the hell.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Because when it hit the fan, how are you going to show up then? What are those unknown variables that you didn't plan for? Did you plan on somebody feeling this certain type of way or reacting or responding a certain type of way and how you're going to respond when they respond the way that they do? Like, it's so many things that you can't account for. But what you can do is you can show up as the best person that you can be, love them and care for them the best way that you can, and figure crap out when it happens.
Pretty much.
Figure it out.
Pretty much.
And be willing to go through whatever it is and just know that the foundation of what you have is strong. If it's strong, because I ain't talking for nobody else.
Yeah, yeah.
Because again, the best advice still won't work for 2 people that shouldn't be together.
Yeah, yeah.
Gonna get that clear. But in our case, I'm grateful to know that we've built something that's so strong that allows us to be able to navigate all of the freaking ebbs and flows, twists and turns of life, and that we get to be so vulnerable and open with one another, and we get to grow through life so intentionally and not have to feel reserved about anything that we're experiencing, living through, or any of that crap. Like, we get to be whole with one another.
Yes.
And get to love each other through all of it. And I'm grateful for that.
Me too, baby.
And we get to keep just becoming more together, no matter what that looks like for us.
Yeah.
Because it won't look the same for everybody. Jesus, I got to keep saying that.
You do. You do. Unfortunately.
But yeah, man, that's it. That's where
good.
I'm at with it.
That's good.
Bro, this is good. Anyway, family, if y'all have gotten value out of this, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out everywhere, man. YouTube, whatever your favorite podcasting platform is. My name is John Trone, and this is my beautiful queen,
Adoria.
We are one dope couple. And until next time, family, peace and love.